Sustainable farming is a complicated topic, and many growers are not only wrestling with how to define it for themselves, but then how to implement it on their farms. SureHarvest, in working with a large number of clients, farming a large number of crops over the last several years, has developed what we think is a very robust framework for not only defining sustainability for one's farm, but also to create an implementation plan that will help the farmer achieve their sustainability goals. And we call this the 5 Ps of sustainable farming. The first P are the principles. These are the values that define your strategy. I like to think of it as a vision. What do you want your farm to be in 5, 10 years? What do you want it to be producing? Where do you want to be as a farming operation? Then the second P are the processes. This is the set of managed activities that create internal and external value for you, for your farming operation. Things like production, things like sales, and other processes. Then within those processes are the practices. These are the methods you use to accomplish the desired operational results. So these might be irrigation management practices, pest management practices. So the practices within the process areas that help you achieve your principles. The fourth P is performance, and these are the metrics and measurements you use to evaluate your practice and process results. In other words, if you're going to go to the effort of defining principles and processes and implementing practices, what are the outcomes of those practices? The fifth P and the final P is progress. This is the approach used to document, communicate, and drive continuous improvement on your farm over time. So it would include things like benchmarking, assessing yourself, action plans, and so forth. Now I would like to present a concrete example using a wine grape grower in a vineyard to illustrate the 5 Ps. So looking at the first P, the principles, which you were going to define and document, this particular grower said, my principles are I want to sell my crop at a profit, I want to produce the highest quality crop possible and optimize my yields, and I would like to adopt a model of continuous improvement on my farm over time. Now, the processes that I need to define and document to meet those principles in wine grape growing would be things like irrigation management, nutrition management, pest management. There'll be many other process areas, but this is just an example. And these process areas are going to be ones that you want to address to achieve your goals. Then practices that you want to implement within each one of those process areas. For example, under irrigation management, you might want to install a flow meter, monitor for leaks and clogs on a regular basis, test for distribution uniformity, and then other examples within the other process areas. Nutrition management might be tissue sampling, developing a nutrient budget using fertigation, and then pest management. To achieve your principles, you might want to monitor for pests regularly, use economic thresholds in decision making, and use reduced risk pesticides. Then, of course, the fourth P are the performance areas, performance metrics that you want to implement and to see what are the outcomes of the practices that you've been doing. And overarching in terms of wine grapes for performance would be, of course, optimizing yield and quality. And within each process area, you're going to have metrics to measure the outcomes. So under irrigation management, you're going to be looking at the efficiency of the water that you've been using if you irrigate. Under nutrition management, you're going to want to look at the efficiency of the nutrients that you're applying. And then under pest management, examples of performance might be looking at the effects of your pest management practices on crop loss. Is it being lowered? And are you reducing your pesticide risk with the materials you're selecting? Then finally, you're going to want to measure the progress of the things that you're implementing, the practices you're implementing, and your performance metrics. And the wine industry has developed a great self-assessment workbook that wine grape growers can use to do this assessment. And by doing the assessment of your practices and your performance, then you can set benchmarks to see where you're at today. And then I think most grape growers will want to improve over time, so you can use that benchmark to identify the areas that you want to create action plans about so you can make improvements. And of course, the improvements are likely to be doing certain new practices, stopping other practices within each of those process areas. And then you're going to want to reassess yourself and say, okay, I was here yesterday, I am now here today, and I want to be there tomorrow, using the assessment process over time, which is the cycle of continuous improvement. If you've liked what you've heard about the 5 Ps of sustainability, please visit our website and contact us either through email or telephone. I'd be very happy to talk to you more about how this robust structure, this robust framework can help you tackle the complicated topic of sustainability and creating a strategic plan for your farming operation.